2018 Mercedes-Benz A-Class hatchback review. The good points of Mercedes-Benz A-Class hatchback: stunning interior, packed with genuinely useful tech, comfortable cruiser, good automatic gearbox. The bad points of Mercedes-Benz A-Class hatchback: could are more fun to push, lack of engine choices from launch, climate control not standard, no manual option from launch. The Mercedes-Benz A-Class would be the smallest and cheapest model within the manufacturer's range and comes exclusively in 5-door hatchback form. Rivals inside premium hatchback market are quite few, although the Audi A3 and BMW 1 Series both provide stiff competition. So does, to some lesser extent, the Lexus Corte, Infiniti Q30 and Volkswagen Golf. Now rolling around in its 4th generation, the A-Class is playing the infant Benz card more than ever before, using a raft of high-tech equipment, an impressively premium cabin as well as a more eye-catching design. Is it enough to set the A-Class presents itself the premium hatchback pile? Watch on: stunning cabin and impressive onboard tech. Mercedes has raised the bar while using A-Class's cabin, delivering a remarkable blend of design and technology to use entry-level model. The interior itself is dominated by the dual-screen setup, easily obtainable in 7.0 and 10.25-inch guises that controls and displays many of the car's auxiliary functions. It's the same as the setup you'd discover in a more expensive A-Class or S-Class, and give the cabin reduced feel that none of their rivals can match. Our only criticism could be that the touchpad controller isn't as quick to use because rotary dial found inside A-Class's main rivals. Improved cabin and boot space. A slightly cramped cabin was obviously a common complaint leveled for the previous generation A-Class, with Mercedes making an effort to change the perception to the new model. As a result, there's noticeably more room inside front and back, meaning you are able to seat 4 adults as well as a child in comfort. The boot space has additionally been stretched along with the loading aperture widened, rendering it easier to load awkward, heavy items. 3 engines being offered. More petrol and diesel engines along with a hybrid are stored on the way, but before this the engine lineup is quite straightforward. It is made up of 2 petrols, the A200 and A250, and something diesel A180D. The biggest seller may just be the 116 horsepower 1.5-liter turbodiesel, although 163 horsepower 1.3-liter O200 petrol can be said to prove popular. All engines come as standard, having a 7-speed DCT automatic transmission as standard. It's a great gearbox and, once you've got familiar with the steering column mounted selector, is often a doddle to control. Out on the highway, the A-Class is targeted more towards comfort than handling, producing a predictable, stable drive. It's not the last word in fun, but can give plenty of cornering grip. There's decent promise on display for your AMG model. The ride comfort is well judged. However, it's worth mentioning that they are driving a car around the most common suspension and wheel size configuration found inside UK. 3 trim levels, each one is well equipped. No matter which with the triumvirate of trims you choose, you'll receive a generous choice of standard equipment to savor. For example, all cars consist of sedan, cruise control, 2 7.0-inch displays, a DAB radio plus a suite of advanced safety systems included inside the price. The only odd omission is dual-zone climate control, only featuring as standard on Sport and AMG line cars. However, for the best out in the A-Class, it's worth diving into your options list for a few select editions. The premium equipment line improves the size and the dual displays to 10 inches. As you move, the smartphone Connect package enables Apple CarPlay Android Auto connectivity. The verdict: Mercedes has been doing what it was required to do using the A-Class. The interior can be a step up from anything we've noticed in this category, even though the onboard tech and driver assistance systems are exceptional. It's besides the complicated bits Mercedes seems to have right either. The A-Class is a bit more refined and better to operate a vehicle than the previous model, which enabled it to now contest with rivals, for example the Audi A3 and BMW 1 Series. However, with all the launch of the replacements just around the corner, it remains to appear just how competitive the A-Class will be within the long run. For now, however, it's a mightily attractive proposition. Mercedes-Benz A-Class hatchback review. 3 engines available from the A-Class. 2 petrols, then 1 entry-level diesel. All models may have a 7-speed automatic gearbox. The A-Class's engine option is relatively sparse from launch, composed of just 1 diesel and a couple of petrol options. Fear not, however, since the range will probably be expanded significantly because car moves through its life cycle with a lot more petrol, diesel and hybrid powertrains all inside the pipeline. Current gearbox choices are equally as narrow, currently comprising just a 7-speed DCT automatic across the 3 engines. A manual is assumed to be on just how for UK cars. Mercedes-Benz A-Class petrol engines. The base petrol engine on offer from the Mercedes-Benz A-Class can be a 1.3-liter turbocharged unit, badged A200. Offering up 163 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque, it's best for 0-62 miles per hour in 8.0 seconds and also a top speed of 139 miles per hour. The 1.3-liter engine belies its small capacity by delivering reasonable real-world performance on all roads. While stopping in need of feeling quick, there's enough oomph to dispatch road overtakes or wake up to speed quickly using a motorway slip road, way more, certainly, versus the A180D. If you're looking for something somewhat quicker, both the .0-liter turbocharged petrol, badged A250, delivers genuine Volkswagen Golf GTI rivaling pace. Producing 224 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque, 0-62 miles per hour pops up in just 6.2 seconds while top speed is 155 miles per hour until the AMG A-Class happens. The A250 is expected for being the fastest derivative being offered. Mercedes-Benz A-Class diesel engines. In what exactly is perhaps a sign in the dwindling interest in diesel, the A-Class is available with 1 non-petrol engine variant from launch. Badged a 180D, it's a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged unit that generates 116 horsepower and 260 Nm of torque. That's enough for the 0-62 miles per hour duration of 10.5 seconds and also a top speed of 125 miles per hour, while it feels perky at low speeds, and has now a surprisingly sensitive throttle pedal. The A180D does struggle under heavy acceleration. It's not slow on the point of feeling dangerous, but you must plan overtakes with plenty of forethought. It's acceptable for cruising, and may likely deliver excellent fuel economy inside the process, but we can't help but believe that many drivers will probably be longing for simply a little more real-world performance out of this engine. Mercedes-Benz A-Class gearboxes. The sole transmission offering from the A-Class can be a 7-speed DCT dual-clutch transmission automatic before the 6-speed manual option arrives afterwards of 2018. It's a slick shifting unit that works well effortlessly engine especially the pit rolls and, once you've got utilized to the steering column mounted gear selector, it's user-friendly. There are manual override paddles should you wish to alter through the gears yourselves, and they're impressively quick to answer, quickly knocking down 2 gears at the same time if requested. Mercedes-Benz A-Class driving modes. All A-Classes come that has a drive mode selector as standard, allowing the motive force to switch between comfort, eco, sport and individual settings. The former two lighten the steering and dull the throttle responses, while sport does the exact opposite and also decreases the ESP electronic stability program intervention. Individual allows drivers to tweak each setting outside of one another. Handling designed more for comfort than sportiness. Plenty of grip and stability, but are more fun to push. Easy drive an automobile around town as a result of standard 7-speed automatic. The A-Class isn't as focused towards sporty driving as, say, a BMW 1 Series, nevertheless it still conducts itself well out on the streets. All handling impressions given here are based on models with all the more advanced multi-link rear suspension AMG line versions only. Sedan Sport trim cars use a cheaper twist-beam rear suspension configuration which doesn't offer as accurate control on the back wheels, in order that they may handle rather differently. Easy to operate a vehicle around town. Around town, the 7-speed automatic gearbox means it's easy to operate a vehicle in high traffic. Even though the car's exterior size is still compact enough, this generation A-Class is longer and wider compared to the previous model to watch through most narrow city streets. The turning circle is compact, plus the steering light at low speeds, giving good overall maneuverability. Rear parking sensors as well as a rear view camera are standard. Plus there's decent visibility on all 4 corners with the car, meaning parking in tight spaces isn't an excessive amount of a challenge. Automatic parking that has a 360-degree camera view on the car can be acquired as a solution and is effective, even though it's not strictly necessary. Lots of grip, yet not especially sharp to operate a vehicle. Gain somewhat more speed over a twisty country road, and also the A-Class displays ample stability and grip, regardless of whether the body does display just a little roll at higher speeds. It's not on the internet for with some of their rivals for sheer dynamic prowess and responsiveness, but there's enough feel and enthusiasm through the chassis to own some fun in the event you really want to. It's likely that most from the time, however, the A-Class will probably be driven around town or on motorways, which is where it feels most in your house. Cruising at very fast, you'd be forgiven for thinking you are driving a greater vehicle on account of the poise and maturity offered, plus it's unlikely to offer any nasty surprises in a high-speed maneuver. Seriously impressive cabin. Design is usually a cut above the rest. Driving position could possibly be lowered down. Mercedes-Benz proceeded to go all out around the A-Class's cabin, and yes, it really shows. Demonstrating a marked improvement on the previous model, it's easily the most effective in class for design and technology. Twin displays control most on the car's functions. The A-Class incorporates 2 7.0-inch displays as standard, a central infotainment monitor as well as a widescreen cockpit instead of regular dials. However, for that full effect, the premium equipment line positioned on Sport and AMG line models replaces the common screens with larger, 10.25-inch displays. They're integrated nicely into your cabin and showcase crisp, easy-on-the-eye graphics with the myriad menus. The car's all-new Bucks infotainment system could be controlled via touchscreen or while using central touchpad, however neither control method is as fast to use because rotary dial found about the BMW 1 Series and Audi A3. Even so, the menus are slick and relatively simple to navigate, even around the move, and give the auto a adult, high feel. Should you wish, Most in the car's auxiliary functions could be controlled via voice recognition, even if this more than somewhat hit and miss. Unless you phrase your request inside the correct way, the machine will find it difficult to carry out your command and cause many frustrating exchanges. Still, it shows some promise for that future and definitely will only improve with software updates and since the system learns your voice. Driving position may be lower. Most drivers will probably be able to get comfortable behind the wheel with the A-Class with no trouble. There's a lot of reach and rake adjustment inside wheel, along with the seats are snug and offer a decent amount of adjustment. However, taller drivers, or people who simply prefer sitting really low down within the car, will almost certainly bemoan the belief that the seat base is always extremely high, regardless how it's set. Build quality is great all round. Encouragingly, all on the buttons, switches and screens think that they will stand quality of time. The central touchpad is really a particular highlight, and combined with its leather handrest, feels particularly solid and high quality. The dashboard sits on two different levels and helps to create what Mercedes calls a ditch involving the upper and lower deck. It's a great idea and allows the central screen to look as though it can be floating. However, we'd question just how long it would take for that ditch to fill with dust and or other bric-a-brac. Comfortable all-round ride. However, we're yet to test standard suspension setup. Good refinement, although wind noise is noticeable at high speed. A caveat worth noting before we get into our impressions about how comfortable the A-Class is: thus far, we've only driven cars with multi-link rear suspension and adaptive dampers only. The former will only be situated on AMG line models, as the latter aren't going to be offered at all from the UK. Pliant suspension created for comfort. It's clear in the outset that this A-Class has been created for comfort over sportiness, and around the car we drove with 18-inch alloys, the ride comfort was well judged. It was absorbent yet didn't feel overly soft, and dealt well with bumps inside road, especially at higher speeds. The reasonably large and low-profile tires meant there would be a slight edge for the ride, experiencing sharp surface imperfections, but nothing out on the ordinary because of this type of car. Improved all-round refinement. Engine noise is noticeably lower than within the previous generation A-Class, specifically when it comes towards the A180D version. It's still noisy when revved hard, yet represents a marked improvement elsewhere within the rev range. The A200 is quieter overall, yet it can be coarser than other small turbocharged petrols in rival vehicles. Road noise is subdued, although wind noise is much more prominent because of this, especially coming from your rear end from the car. Front seat passengers should always be able to possess a relatively hushed conversation, nonetheless. Comfortable seats, with electric adjustability a solution. Most drivers should be capable to get comfortable inside A-Class on account of supportive seats and reasonable levels of adjustment. However, particularly tall drivers may find it hard to get comfortable in the driver's seat thanks with a seat base that still sits fairly high, even on its lowest setting. Heated and ventilated seats can be purchased as options within the A-Class. Sat-nav, Bluetooth and cruise control all standard, as are dual screens in 7.0-inch guise. Climate control and Apple CarPlay Android Auto both cost options. Mercedes-Benz A-Class standard equipment. The good news for the standard equipment front is always that all cars come with all the dual-screen setup that continues to be so heavily publicized from the A-Class's marketing material. That means that all three trim levels, say, Sport and AMG line, will manage to benefit from a 7.0-inch central instrument display as well as a touchscreen display from the same size, unlike many rivals that offer only similar technology for an option. Say standard equipment. Sedan with 3 years free live traffic information, Bucks voice activation media system with touchpad controller, DAB radio, USB connectivity and Bluetooth phone connectivity. Active brake assist, active lane keeping assist, attention assist, speed limit assist and dynamic select with 4 different drive programs, Eco, Comfort, Sport and Individual. Cruise control, aircon, keyless ignition, multifunction leather sports tire and halogen headlights with integral LED daytime running lamps. 16-inch 5 twin-spoke design alloy wheels, luggage nets on driver and front passenger backrests with an Artico man-made leather and Bertrix Fabrica upholstery interior. Sport standard equipment in addition replacement to say. Dual-zone climate control, LED high-end headlights. 17-inch alloy wheels, 10-spoke design. Dark carbon fiber look trim and flare and Fabrics upholstery. AMG line standard equipment. 18-inch AMG alloy wheels, 5 twin-spoke design, AMG body styling comprising AMG front apron with front splitter in chrome, a gemstone and setting radiator grille and AMG side sill panels and AMG rear apron with chrome trim and visible exhaust tailpipes. Artico man-made leather Dynamica black microfiber upholstery with red contrast stitching along with a 3-spoke flat-bottom multifunction sport leader in Napa leather. Mercedes-Benz A-Class optional equipment. In addition to the typical kit being offered across the 3 trim levels, the A-Class is usually available, which has a number of optional equipment packages. These include executive equipment line entirely on say, Sport and AMG line trims. Mirror package, electrically folding exterior mirrors and automatically dimming driver's side mirror and rear view mirror. A 10.25-inch media display. Automatic parking with Parktronic including front and back parking sensors. Heated front seats. Premium equipment line on Sport and AMG line trims. Executive equipment line kit. A 10.25-inch instrument cluster. 64-color ambient lighting and illuminated door sills. Keyless entry. Upgraded audio system. A rear armrest. Premium Plus equipment positioned on Sport and AMG line trims. Premium equipment line kit. Front memory seats. Multi-beam LED headlights with adaptive high beam assist plus. Panoramic glass sunroof, black roof lining as standard. Advanced navigation package entirely on say, Sport and AMG line trims. Bucks augmented reality for navigation, where superimposed highlight information, like house numbers and street names, are overlaid on top from the recorded image in the road ahead, displayed within the media display. Traffic sign recognition. Smartphone Connect package on say, Sport and AMG line trims. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Digital key for smartphone allowing the trucker to use their key being a smartphone. Wireless charging and connection via Bluetooth. Mercedes-Benz now offers a choice of 5 colors for the A-Class, made up of Polar White, Cosmos Black Metallic, Mountain Gray Metallic, Jupiter Red and Iridium Silver Metallic. No Euro NCAP safety rating score confirmed. A-Class features a raft of high-tech safety kit created to avoid accidents. 2 readily accessible ICE fix points fitted as standard within the outer rear seats. As we've arrived at expect from Mercedes, the A-Class comes complete with exactly what it calls intelligent drive systems created to help the trucker avoid potential accidents. The list of technology is comprehensive, and includes active emergency brake assist, brakes the vehicle into a standstill within its lane whether it detects no input within the steering wheel in a predefined serious amounts of after multiple visual and acoustic warnings. Active lane change assist, effective automatically changing the auto's lane when either on the indicators are activated. Active distance assist Distronic adaptive cruise control with active steering assist, looks after a set distance and maximum speed towards the vehicle before, while providing in-lane active steering assist. Active blind spot assist, warns the driver from the presence of some other vehicle from the car's blind spots. Also efficient at alerting the driving force to vehicles and bicycles approaching from behind because they're about to open their door. Autonomous emergency braking. The A-Class is yet being tested by Euro NCAP, but is virtually certain to have a 5-star rating due to the raft of high-tech safety kit and previous form in the manufacturer. How many ICE-fixed child car seats can I easily fit in a Mercedes-Benz A-Class hatchback? There are 2 ICE-fix points fitted as standard around the outer rear seats in the A-Class. Easily accessible, parents shouldn't have trouble attaching the auto seats. Enough cabin space for 4 adults. Boot capacity is actually competitive with main rivals. Easy to access ICE-fix points on outer rear seats. The absence of cabin space became a common complaint with the old A-Class, and it is something that Mercedes worked as a chef to improve inside 2018 model. Shoulder, elbow and headroom may be improved back and front, meaning there's now enough space for 4 adult occupants. Head and legroom within the back is ample, however the middle seat is best suited to small kids as a result of the chunky central tunnel robbing legroom. Decent safekeeping. The A-Class has enough storage space to the needs of many drivers, whether or not it lags behind what's available in an Audi A3. Up front, the doorway pockets are an excellent size and then there are 2 reasonably capacious cup holders within the center console. The compartment in the armrest is pretty narrow but deep, as you move the glove box is undoubtedly an average size. In the spine, there can be a couple of smaller door pockets, fold-out cup holders and twin air vents behind the top armrest. All cars feature standard rear parking sensors and also a reversing camera, making it very easy to maneuver the A-Class into tight spots. It is 14 mm wider versus the previous generation car however, so owners planning to upgrade their old A-Class should double-check the new one fits comfortably within their garage. The A-Class's boot is really a marked improvement within the previous generation car, boasting an additional 29 liters of storage space together with the rear seats in place and also a load aperture which is 20 centimeters wider. This means it's better to get awkward, wide objects in, so does the relatively small boot lip. For longer items, the spine seats fold down almost flat in a very 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split, while arch intrusion is kept with a minimum. The boot also contains power sockets and hooks for storing bags.